Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Right as Rain, our weekly Seattle Rain podcast. Charles Hamaker here with you. Again, Bella, believe, is off in Switzerland. So we'll keep things rolling. This will probably be a shorter episode, in all honesty. The interview that we got this week with Rain defender Shae Holmes will probably be longer than, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's tough because the Rain had this international friendly that was not broadcast, and that was kind of the news from this past week. So we'll get into it. As one of the handful of media that was there for this, um, for this match, I'm one of a few people who can report on it, you know. So and I tried to do so on our social medias so that you know, fans could follow along with it as much. It was a good attendance. It was about 6,000 or so. I think 6,500 is about the number it was. And so it's nice to see that, especially with there being a Mariners game going on at the same time, right across the street, and the Ballard FC playoff match happening. And some people are like, oh, if amateur soccer, it's a playoff match, and Ballard has done a really good job of, capturing the soccer community in the area. So 6,495 to be exact. But yeah, the Rain have this friendly that has been played, and they'll have sugar-free Red Bull. Oops, excuse me. They'll have a friendly match against the Portland Thorns tomorrow, July 26th, at 7 o'clock. Before they get back into the the NWSL regular season, to start the second half. So we'll look into this one. This friendly against Urawa, the Urawa Red Diamonds Ladies, um, in the stadium. I believe they were the Urawa Reds Ladies, is how they were displayed in Lumen Field. Um, this match really was the Sofia Huerta return match, basically. We'd kind of wondered, I think last episode talked about, the roster moves that would be needed to make room for Sofia, and getting in me official. And, the Reign have done that with a few different moves. Sofia wasted no time in getting integrated again. It was kind of interesting, in past years with the um, Challenge Cup. There was the Summer Cup. There's a few different things that have happened, over the course of the last few seasons where the Reign can showcase their depth and, get some of their younger players or players who don't get as many minutes to get those opportunities to play. And that whole, this kind of seems like this match and then the match against Portland would be the ones where the Reign would be able to do that. Um, but, we saw some pretty experienced players, you know, excuse me, in the lineup. Uh, Obviously, I mentioned Sofia Huerta. Mia Fischel got her first look at Rain, in Rain colors. Maddie Prohaska, the current backup goalkeeper, obviously with Cassie Miller still injured, as Prohaska gets the start. She played the entire game. Huerta, Emily Mason, six defenders, by the way. I really struggled to put this in our lineup graphic because I'm used to the Rain really have started to go with this five back formation. Laura Harvey really seems to like how that's playing, and that's fine. But six back, I'm like, what are we doing? How do I do this? Um, instead of the just standard lineup. I don't like doing that. I like having the traditional soccer, normal layup lineup on the field. But anyway, Emily Mason back in the defense, Ainsley McKemmon playing back in the defense, Jordan Bug, Madison Curry, and Shae Holmes. Shae Holmes getting the captain's armband in this one. Sally Menti, the lone midfielder. Then up top, Jordan Heidema, Mia Fischel, and Norelia Mondesir or Coco. On the bench, Claudia Dickey, Maddie Mercado, Maddie Darlene, Sam Meza, Emery Adamas, Hannah Glass, Phoebe McLernan, and Niku Purcell. It's an interesting match. We got to talk to Rain head assistant coach Scott Parkinson a few days during the open media training a few days before this match took place. And, one of the first things that he said about Urawa was that, they were a club that was going to, hold, they're going to have a lot of possession, and the Rain were going to play into that. You know, um, you know, they're very possession oriented, keep the ball, pop it around. Uh, they're not really a high pressing team that's going to press. They're not a team that's going to press a lot. A bit more organized and structured. So, you know, Parkinson said this is a change from what they see in the NWSL pretty often, which is a little more frantic, a little more transitional, a little bit more rock and roll. Is literally what he said in the quote here that I have from my transcription. Yeah, really interested to see that. Did say that Sophia had returned to training, it's like a buck to water, is what he said. She knows the place, she loves the place. It's been pretty seamless. So of course that makes sense. Just wanted to get, some of that vibe. Um, Also, it was interesting asking her. We're dipping into the pre-match here. I asked about Mia Official and how she started to integrate. She's real quiet, but around the group has just fit in perfectly. She seems to be getting close with a lot of players on the group, nice and early, which is good to see. And then on the field, she's got world-class habits, whether it's in a passing pattern or a little rondo. She'll check away from the ball before she gets it, even when there's no defender, because she's ultimately training herself to have the habit of moving before she gets the ball. You see that in the likes of who is this? Oh, Megan Rapinoe. My transcription here, my auto transcription says my last name. I'm like, that's not right. Um, he says Megan Rapinoe and Miriam Sonogorcevic. You see that in the pros. Her standards look excellent. Adds a ton of competition to the teams, and hopefully she can contribute some goals. So, um, that was really cool. I'll talk about it at the end, but Scott was kind of running things for this training, and I think a few others before that because Laura Harvey was off working on a special coaching conference, and we'll talk about that after we talk about this match. I asked, about Lou was working kind of on the side a little bit, and Ryan Brown's been in full training. Um, for a few months now. It seemed like she continued her stay in the like full team activities for the vast majority of the day. So I asked about that. Lou was in training. She started to come into the passing the possession, but Scott said she's probably a week out from being available for selection. So that would be about this week. So maybe see her a little bit. I say see, but that this friendly match against Portland will also not be broadcasted. But so anyway, I think all things go well. They probably will have her available for the match on August 1st against Angel City. Ryan Brown, Parkinson said, is right at that last little point of just getting some boxes checked, final little pieces of maybe getting through some bigger 11v11s and getting some bigger space stuff, but really close, and we're excited. So that's really cool to see. Parkinson doubled down on something I've heard Laura said. Laura said this, I think, in the post-match press conference after this friendly, but Scott said, um, it's the best competitive 26 I've ever worked with in regards to the depth of the squad. So that's really cool to see. Um, you know, uh, Okay, got that. Yeah, this Urawa match though is interesting. The first 25 minutes or so was a lot of Urawa with possession. Um, again, it's something that Scott Parkinson had said. I wasn't really surprised when this started to happen. I was like, okay, this is exactly what he said was going to happen. Um, but then the Reign were able to get a corner in the 27th minute. Um, ultimately this goal came off Sofia Huerta. Huerta was waiting just atop the box, seemingly outside of it for maybe any rebounds. And that's ultimately what happened. A failed header out of the box landed at the feet of two different Urawa offenders. They both went at the same time to try and clear it. Ultimately, that resulted in the ball kind of leaking out, not fully strength clearing it, and it goes right to Sofia Huerta, who's able to kind of tuck it in. If I'm Sofia Huerta, to the left side post. The corner had happened on the right side, and the goalkeeper for Urawa was playing the near post. So that and the fact that Huerta's kicking it from atop the box through some traffic makes it tough for the goalkeeper to see. Nice little tuck into the corner of the box. First goal of the match. There you go. Nice, easy does it. Um, Urawa was able to answer right back though in the 36th minute off a corner from midfielder Ina Takatsuka. Was left unmarked at the far post, easily able to redirect a ball into the open net. This one was kind of interesting watching this one happen. Um, Jordan Bug initially gets the first header to this one, but she doesn't get it fully. It only kind of glances off the side of her head right to Um, Takatsuka. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, please feel free to correct me. She's able to just use her left foot. It goes right to her. Use her left foot, kind of nicely direct it. Before anybody, there's a few kind of similar to the where to goal. There's a few rain bodies in the way. They're not able to react fast enough, and Prohaska's not able to react fast enough. Probably because again, she was coming from what was the near post on the corner to come over, and it just all happened so quickly. So we were tied in the 36th minute, and we went into halftime that way. Urawa had a couple shots in the 42nd minute and the round then on Prohaska, but neither of them really forced her to make any sort of save that was, extra scary or anything like that. So that was kind of cool to see. Um, just see her Prohaska, get that experience. She was a great goalkeeper at Auburn, and coming into the season was kind of buried as the third goalkeeper, but she looked, at least to me, like a really calm and steadying presence in this match. So I enjoyed seeing that. I thought that was really cool. See if I can get this here. Trying to prepare and get the post match stuff ready. Um, there we go. Boop, for when I talk about that. Then in the 53rd minute, Jordan Heidema was taken down on the box on a through ball to set up for a penalty kick. And it was kind of funny. Sofia Huerta normally takes these, but it looked like when they were, getting all set up and cleared in the box that she wasn't. She was like going to let someone else take it. And they said, "No, you're going to take it." Sure enough, it was Sofia. Sofia uh, goes to her left, and the goalkeeper gets the right side, but Sofia's shot was able to beat it um, and tuck it away. And that was about it. There wasn't too much else going in this one. Um, Against Urawa, it was a tight match. It ended 2-1 in a win for the Reign. It was a tight match. Urawa didn't put too much pressure um, on the Reign in this one in terms of dangerous opportunities. Uh, I think they were able to avoid having to deal with a bunch of those. Um, you know, excuse me, but still was a tight match. Um, you know, it was a Sophia Huerta brace. Yeah, shots. Sorry, I had to go and look at back at my notes. Reign had the advantage 12-5. They had the corner advantage 5-2. Fouls kind of consistent, 11-10. But still, even though they're like Urawa didn't put too much attacking pressure in terms of dangerous opportunities, dangerous chances on Prohaska and the Reign, they again with the possession oriented game that they played, they really didn't allow the Reign to get too many dangerous opportunities. It's a tight match. It was a good tight match. It was really cool to see Urawa. I think the other day actually, might have been yesterday. It was earlier. It was yesterday. They had this cool they really welcomed the players in. There's this cool post that they had where Ryan Brown, Maddie Curry, Shae Holmes, and Maddie Prohaska exchanged some gifts, I think, with some of the players. And even some of the Rain players and some of the Urawa players went to the pipe. Oh yeah, no, this is okay. Yeah, they had Maddie Curry, Ryan Brown, um, Shae Holmes, and Maddie Prohaska all there with looks like a good amount of the um Urawa roster down at Pike Place Market, which is really cool. Oh, nice. So they got to go and share some of the scenes. That is really cool. That is really cool. That's really sweet, actually. Yeah, I love that. That is awesome. Oh, it looks like yeah, they give like the rain the four players I've mentioned like a sheet of like the roster or something. It's all right. That's just really cute. I like that. I did ask we got sorry. We got to talk to the Urawa head coach. I will get the lineup sheet here so they don't mispronounce name. Well, I don't just throw random names. I might mispronounce out there. which was really cool to be able to talk to the head coach as well as one of the players here as I open it up. Um, got to talk to Hana Takahashi. I believe that's right, Hana Takahashi. So actually, let me go to my conversations and pull that up from that match. Yeah, we got to talk to the head coach, which was really cool. Nico Antun with House of Sounders, House of Rain. Uh, Spent some time in Japan. So he was able to ask in Japanese. That was really cool. So I still really loved how cool that was. Um, he got to ask his questions in Japanese, which was really cool and really took the head coach and Hana Takahashi by surprise. Head coach, I believe it's Hori Takafuri, I believe. Um, mm, 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 yeah, was asked about the play style. You cannot have this experience in Japan. Uh, they're talking about the Rain players. They're very fast and they can kick stronger and longer, and that is a very big difference through translator. And you can experience that. That's a good part, and the tactical part as well is very clear for the U.S. side. They're moving very clearly what the head coach wanted to do. Hmm, very nice. Um, let's see. What else do we got today? Oh, talked about Urawa. Very special historical club, and that's why we want to be very honest against football, soccer. We want to do more of a show of how Japanese players will play. Um, that was really cool to see. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I asked what the decision was to come to Seattle, play the rain, and their time in Seattle. So the head coach said, "We are in a Japanese league as a team. We're aiming for Asia and even a global team. So for that, we are very happy that when the opportunity came, uh, it was an easy decision to make because you're already aiming for the highest place. So obviously, some very high regard for the rain there, which is very cool to see. It's really nice." And then with Takahashi, let's see what we got here. Um, see what I got here. Oh yeah, I was asked, how do you want Seattle fans to take away from seeing Urawa play? Uh, I would hope that the fans could feel how uh, uh, style of play, that just connect the ball to move the ball very well, and feel something like a Japanese style as well, and how we've got the skills to do that. So that was very cool. I asked, what did they take away from playing against the rain? Um, the Hannah mentioned the power and speed being different than what they experienced in Japan. So that's the big part. So we could experience this. We hope this one will be one of the building of success. Yeah, building towards success. And they asked experiencing Seattle, because I was like, I'm sure they've been here for more than just the day, right? She said the weather is very cool for us, which is nice. Uh, yeah, cool enough for them. Mentioned, yeah, and like the weather. Said there's so many buildings like Tokyo, which was cool, and the people are kind. We felt the environment is very nice. Yeah, I really like that. That was really cool. Oh yeah, and then was asked about the Urawa men's team had come and played at Lumen Field, obviously for the club's World Cup. And Hannah said, so before I came into the stadium, I was already excited, and we came. Felt there's so many good fans. There's even Japanese fans cheering, so I felt very thankful for that and playing here and playing in this venue. See, I don't know, man. That's just really cool when someone from different country comes in and you always want to play a good host, right? It felt like that was what happened with the rain here. So sorry for being all weird and crying there, but that was really cool. But yeah, no, this match, yeah, ends in a 2-1 win for the Rain. Again, friendly. Um, but cool to see the Rain get a mix of depth players, the new signings, some rotational players in there. And obviously with the players in the Euros, Ji So Yoon and Lynn Biondolo, who was done with the US women's national team, but the Rain were able to afford her a break, kind of get her some time off. Was nice. So that was cool to see. Um, All but two players for the Reign were able to get in. The Reign did not use their two goalkeepers on the bench, and Dickey and Purcell. So that was cool to see there. Oh, that guy. Huh. Oh, I guess this is Urawa's. Looked like it could be one of their first preseason games. Interesting. Um, Interesting. Sorry, checking out a few different things for this match. But yeah, no, so talked to um Sophia Huerta and Maddie Prohaska post match. I kind of asked, I was like, Sophia, hey, it's been a long time since we've seen you. What was it like to be back? She said it was really nice. Said Seattle is home. Being away was difficult, but obviously rewarding in another way. Coming back to the team has been really nice and such a nice surprise. I love everyone on the team. The team's done so well. It's been fun to watch from afar. To be able to come back was nice. She says, I'm just wanting to fit in as I can. The team's doing so well. So whatever I can do to contribute will be a positive. But it's really nice to be back. Everyone's been so welcoming. She kept saying this. It feels like I'm on a new team because the team's so new. I can understand some of that, like with Fischel, with Maddie Curry. Uh, there are a few examples of that, but it is largely the same core, and when Jess gets back, there are players that she'll know. So but I can understand it. There are some new players, so that was kind of cool to see. And I asked Maddie Prohaska, and this got posted on social, so I'm happy that it's always cool when your questions gets posted. Just asked her about playing the entirety of the match because she really hasn't been able to get any experience yet in a match. So she said it's honestly a dream come true. I feel like I've been wanting to be a professional soccer player since I could play soccer. And so getting the opportunity to play, and not even that, but just having the trust from the staff and the team to let me play 90 minutes. I feel like I just show up and try to be my best self every day and hope to be a decent goalkeeper while doing that. So just felt like today I really got to show myself, and I'm just grateful to have the trust of the people around me to give me this opportunity. So that was really cool. Um, let's see here. See what else might be important. Uh, oh yeah, this will maybe I should save this. I'll save this for when I launch us into our Shae Holmes interview, and I'll go over to what Laura Harvey said here for the post-match press conference, and I can talk about Laura's little not little, that's demeaning. Laura's adventure away. So Laura talking to Laura, Laura asked as a tribute to Ride of the Valkyries, former Ride of the Valkyries, because he's retired, Jacob, who would start every match asking Laura about her thoughts on the match. I tried to carry that mantle. He is a Filipino. I'm a Filipino. I want to carry that. Sometimes Bella Munson will take it first, and it frustrates me. But hey, what are you gonna do? Laura said, "I thought we did some good stuff. I think getting Mia and Sophia some minutes was a big priority for us. Successful. So we did that, which was great. Trying a couple different things, a couple of people in different positions. I immediately thought of Ainsley McCammon, playing back in the defensive role. I know she can be like a defensive midfield, excuse me, but just seeing her listed straight up defensively was interesting. We've got a big stretch of 12 games in 12 weeks coming up, so we're not going to have a lot of time to try things out. Uh, if we need to do things, I think this period has been really good for us to be able to do that because they've been training still over the last few weeks despite not having matches. Nice to get a win. I thought we could have scored more, and we were tested in ways that we don't often get tested in our league, really. So that was fun. I just thought it was a good occasion for the club, and obviously to try to get some international opposition here is always fun. About Prohaska, I asked her. Just really calm. I thought she was calm. I agree. That's what I thought. I think it's uh the set piece was a little bit disappointing, not for her, but I'm sure concede like that. Yeah, I thought she was comfortable. We were confident going back to her with her feet. Um, her feet are very good. Got it. Oh, nope. I want to pause. I don't want to. No. Oh, okay. Sorry, trying to get this back. playing the audio. I didn't want her to keep playing. Whenever she needed to make a save, she made them. Overall, really happy for her that we were able to get her minutes. Because if she did speak in here, right, she came in, as you can probably tell, she's a good personality and a good person. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Um, mm, 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 mm. Oh, talked about Mia Fischel. I think she's integrated really well into the team. I think when you play as a forward to understand the tendencies of people around you is the thing that can be the key ingredient to go for a forward to be successful or not. I think playing with Jordan and Coco was great. Hopefully, we can over the next couple of years integrate Lynn and Emery and G and Jess and everyone else coming back. Yep. So she gets to see, we get to see Mia and all these different potential matchups will be great. Yeah, very nice to see. Um, see what else we got today. Oh yeah, I asked about Shae Holmes again. Oh, okay. So we'll get to the coaching program. So when we had the open media training, and Scott Parkinson was there, I was told from Rain PR, "Hey, Laura's not here, but you can talk to Scott if you want to do like a pre-match or talk to, because normally when we have open media training, Laura will talk to us." Um, for training really starts. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And she was away for just a few days in Switzerland, where the Euros are happening. Um, and part of this like elite FIFA training mentorship, where she gets to mentor one young up and coming coach. Um, so I asked her about that, and I do want to write about this. I think I will get my lazy ass together and write about this because I think it's really cool. But I asked Laura about it at the end. I tried to keep it at the end of the press conference so to not bug everything up. But I asked her about it's a FIFA Elite Coach mentoring program. I'm a mentor, which is slightly weird to me. Here we are, and yeah, FIFA invited me to be part of it. We went out to Zurich for a few days, for 4 days, and did some workshops on being a mentor, working with your mentee, and how we can help each other. Um, how I'm going to help her. She can help me too. We got to go to the England Sweden game for the Euros. That was fun. Um, it's an 18-month program. My mentee is Northern Irish, so I get to go and see her. She gets to come to my environment, which will be fun. It's an honor to be involved. It was an honor to be asked to be involved. I learned a lot in those 4 days, so I can't imagine what she learned. I'm excited for the journey. I think it's a really fun thing. There's some really good coaches involved who got to some experience, talked about World Cup winners and all that type of thing. It was a really fun 4 days. So I guess this was the initial sort of get together. So it's going to keep running through the end of 2026, which is really cool. So that's why Laura Harvey wasn't around for those few days of training, I guess. Sorry, I talk so much, gets thirsty. Um, yeah, we'll get into the Shae Holmes stuff now to lead into our interview with Shae. Um, Yeah, I always take notice of who wears the captain's armband. I remember last year before she got traded, I wrote this whole piece when Bethany Balcer wore the captain's armband because I think Lou Barnes was out for a match, so it was Bethany wearing the captain's armband, and I talked about how you know, given Bethany's trajectory at the time with the Reign, that she could be the Reign's next big captain. Because we'd gone from Jess Fishlock, Lou Barnes, Megan Rapinoe Warden occasionally, and given how Bethany, won Rookie of the Year and was tied for like their top goal scorer for every year that she was here, has been like an outspoken vocal leader on mental health. I said, "Huh, there's something here." And then she got traded. Um, as is life. Hey, always rooting for Bethany Balcer. But yeah, I always take note of kind of who's wearing the captain's armband. I think it's notable. And Shae Holmes, I think, has worn it a few times. There was one match in the interview you'll hear where I guess Shae got at the very end in the Chicago match a few weeks ago, or most recently this year. Lou Barnes went out early and she gave it to Shae, and Shae wore it for this match. So I asked Sophia Huerta about it. Defensive backline partners. I asked Sophia about her wearing that and her growth. Sophia said Shay's been here for a couple of years, and she's someone who's always been like a sponge. She's wanted to learn so much, and it's always nice to see someone who's come in and is willing to learn and is able to do that on the field. I think Shae is someone that when I saw, I had the cap. She saw Yeah. I think Shae is someone that when I saw had the captain's armband, I was really excited for her because she's had such a calming presence on the field and she's really grown into her own. This year having her first goal just exudes confidence. I think when you first come in as a professional, it's hard to find your bearings. It's just hard to feel established in this league. It's a really hard league to play in, but she's done so well and has really taken in all the information that everybody gives her, and she's been really wanting to learn. I think you saw her be such a leader today on the field, and she just continues to grow, and it's just fun to see. I asked Laura about it, as someone who helped bring her in. Um, Oopsie, where is it? Yeah, captain's armband, seeing her growth. Laura talks about journeys all the time, and I kind of asked her about that. Laura said, I think we created a player leadership group at the start of the season, and the players voted who they wanted on it, and Shae was in it. I think she has developed tremendously in the 3 years she's been here. I've talked about Shae a lot in regards to her journey. I think initial journey was just to stay healthy. Some horrific injuries, just stay healthy. So we've gone through that journey. Then it was about how can we get you minutes here and there, what was keeping you healthy. We've done that journey. And then now this journey that we're now is how do we push? How does she push? How do we push to develop her and get her where we all believe she can be? I think she's on a really good path to do that. To that and leadership, I think in her part of her leadership's in part of her DNA. I think players see that. I think she sees that. I think she was surprised today when she walked in. She'll talk about this in the interview, but I think one of the big legacies of this club is to always, for the older veterans, is to leave it better than they found it. And that's not just all the outside things that you see that uh, is all celebrated, but the internal part of leadership and what it means to play for the club. I think Shae really epitomizes that. I've been a big fan of Shae Holmes. I know as media, we're not really supposed to be fan of things, but it's been great to watch Shae Holmes, from UW be such a strong presence as a Husky. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Strong presence as a Husky, you know, uh, to come here now and be a part of the Reign, even in different minutes, be part of this leadership group that's been mentioned is big. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed getting to talk to Shae this week. So I will throw it to our interview right here. Welcome back to Right is Rain. I've got Shae Holmes with me. It's always great to be with a dog, especially because the last few days here at the Mariners, they've been doing other college nights and they had Oregon and Wazoo. So it's been terrible. So I needed this as a
Yeah, what the
refresher.
heck?
Um, Shay, it's great to have you on. Just wanted to, before we get into things, how have you been feeling getting back into the swing of things? I know a lot of you guys have been training, sometimes with 8 players,
hmm
Laura said, but just how have things been for you on the player side? Because on the media side, it's just been kind of weird. You guys, obviously we're on the road for June.
hmm
We're kind of getting back into things, but we're not, full go. How have the last few weeks, months been for you?
Yeah, I mean it's been weird a little bit just because yeah, we had I think when everyone came back from the CBA break, we had genuinely like 7 to 8 players that were like consistently in. So we had a lot of training players. But it was nice in a sense of like it was just something that we looked at as like, okay, every day, like we just have to keep the standard that we've had throughout season, just with whoever's here, and we know the standard with whoever st was not on international duty, not on like, yeah, whatever it was, Euros, we had US, we had an Asian Cup with G, like so it was all over the place. So I just think it was holding the 8 of us that were here to the standards that we've had all season, but then also bringing those training players with us. Like every time we had games or sorry, trainings, it was like a mix. So it was like we would have a few of the training players on one team, and then a few of us on the one team. So it was kind of just even though we had a little bit of adversity with it, it was just pulling them with us and being like, hey, here's what we normally do. Here's how we normally play and keep it. Like, you got it. We're encouraging you, but then also keeping our technical and tactical principles as high as it could be during that time. But yeah, I think it was. I feel good going into like this next half of season. I'm sure I can speak a little bit for the rest of the of everyone that was around here. I feel like we did really good at kind of building into our weeks. So like yeah, we came back and it was a lighter load to just get our feet back underneath us and just like really focus on the technical pieces. And then yeah, it was like the last 2 weeks. It's been nice to build up on that and kind of be like, okay, now we're getting back in the swing of things and we can put our workload a little bit higher leading into this past game this weekend. So I know everyone, as wonky as it was, I feel like we're all excited to have everyone back. It feels like our family's whole again, but it's not like we didn't not put the work in when everyone was gone because we knew they were doing the hard work on duty. So we had to put that same effort back here on the field to pick them up to speed when they got back. So hopefully it felt like it flowed seamlessly.
Speaking of, trying to get things to flow seamlessly, in, the recent weeks, obviously the club signed me official. That was a big
Mhm.
deal. I, this is maybe less serious, less like you talked about the tactics, right? As a player, because, I know there's that aspect of it, and I know you are a fan, of different sports as well. What are your emotions like when you find out about a big signing like this? Because obviously for the fans, the
Hmm.
club posts the big fish. There's all this bubbling. Like, what do you get the same sort of emotions? What is it like for you knowing that, the club is adding, a big piece, not only for, this season, you talk about the big
Hmm.
second half, but
Yeah.
obviously for the long term as well.
Yeah, I just feel like we get just as excited. Obviously, when we always hear something, we're like, okay, there's like some rumors or names being flown around. And then when we get that text of like, hey, we'll have a little bit of an announcement, then everyone's like, oh. So I feel like we get the same emotion as you guys. And what's nice about it is like it also just not like it doesn't change on who it's been. Like I feel like every new person that's come into this like team, if I've known them, I've had the same response like, okay, great, we get some new qualities. Like, who is this player? Where'd they come from? Like, what's their skill set? So you like learn more about them, or if other people on the team have known them, then you kind of ask around, like, what are they like, personality wise, on and off the field. What's nice with Mia specifically is I've played with her in youth camps. So like we were in our youth stuff. With the US. And then we went to CONCACAF, the U20s. That was the year I think she was also a part of me with that group with Laura that one year before COVID. So it's just nice. It's a familiar face to me. So when I heard it, I was like, okay, great. This is like throwing me back. I also played against her a little bit in college because like she went to UCLA. So for me, like for her as a signing, it was kind of like familiar. And it was more like, okay, this is great. This is another skill set that either we have a little bit more like we need a little bit more of or it's like okay great she's going to bring a whole new like asset of scoring goals and like just getting on the ball so I just feel like we were all so excited but just dependent on the players like you're either excited because you're like okay what is this person going to come in and how are they going to elevate the team or it's like I knew Mia and I'm like I know who the person she is off the field unreal like the sweetest person but then also on the field I know what she brings and the qualities she's bring and yeah, it's just a cool connection to like cycle back in from our youth days too.
You know, it's funny because I totally blanked on this until you started mentioning playing. The big connection that I don't know if you watched the press conference with her at all, but everyone's like, "Hey, you like to fish.
Yeah.
When are you and Shae Holmes gonna hang out and do that?" Everyone was like, "Shay's gonna show you all these places." Um, so has that been talked about yet? Or, I'm
Yeah,
sure the rain.
the first day she came in, she was like, "Hey, so I know you fish." And 'cause like obviously I'm gonna put all the a little bit of rumors to bed, not anything like that, but yes, I love fishing. Don't get me wrong, but the boyfriend is the one that got me into it. So I can't take all the credit that I'm like, "Hey, this big fisherwoman." I'm more of a catcher. I'm like, if I don't catch a fish in 2 hours, I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, I need to be catching it to like really be in deep in it. But I do enjoy it doing it with other people. So, like, because I do it with my boyfriend, he plays abroad right now. So it's like, it's just me. So any person I get, he's always like, oh, you have a fishing buddy now. I'm like, okay, great. He bought me my own rod a couple years ago. So, like, I have a rod. So I told Mia, I was like, oh yeah, I can for sure do that. So I have my rod. Mia's gonna get hers up here, and Maddie Darlene today just said that she wants to buy one. Sam and Alex, Alex's or Sam's girlfriend, like they're both in. Like we're gonna have a squad. We're gonna have a fishing squad who's gonna be rolling out, and we're gonna be catching some either bass or hopefully like some carp maybe in the heat of the summers. We want like the bigger fish, you know? So like but yeah, no, it definitely was talked about the first day. We were laughing about it. I was like, I got you. I know all the big spots near UW. Maddie Darlene, she said she's gonna try to renew her boat license. I'm like, perfect. We got a driver. We need a place just to find a boat. I was like, and then we'll just go out in we'll go out on our own little group and rally up some fish. So catch and release.
This is perfect. I mean, if the Rain would like to take the content idea of miking you guys up,
Yeah,
they please, I know people would love
great.
that.
Yeah,
That
great.
was it was as soon as like they posted the teaser video, I was like, okay, is Shae involved in this? What's going on?
Everyone thought it was such a missed opportunity that I just wasn't the one in the video to be able to help announce
Yes.
it. I was like, I know.
Hmm.
I was like, SMH, I could have brought up one of my videos from catching my big muskie a while ago. Who knows? Could have helped out mate like massively, but it's fine. I get it. Next time, next time.
You wouldn't have even needed to act. You could have just gone through what you normally do. There you go. That is perfect. That is more than I expected. All right. This will lead into the leadership I wanted to talk about because for those who aren't aware, in the post-match press conference after the Urawa match, uh, asked head coach Laura Harvey about Shae Holmes wearing the captain's armband because I think that was cool. I believe the Chicago match when Lou came off, you
Mhm.
wore that as well. Um, but Laura talked about journeys and different journeys that you've been on, with the injuries that you've dealt with and, working to earn minutes here. And now it's, this different leadership journey. Just to reflect a little bit on, I don't know how far you want to take it. We could go back to UW. That'd be a
Yeah.
long time. But just the journey that Faye Holmes has been on to get from UW here, to where you're at now with the Rain.
Yeah. Well, first off, I just want to say like I feel like coming into this club and just looking up to the captains we've had, which just the past 2 years now, or like this, I know this is my third year, but the past 2 years now, looking up to the captains we knew that were Jess and Lou, I just feel like is already just those are massive shoes to fill in general when you look at like what leadership stands for, the things that they stand for, the things they speak up for, the people they are and the players they are on the field. I just feel like it's hard to emulate that. They're both one of a kind. So I think in general, when I've been sharing this a lot with teammates because everyone's like, okay, Cap, and I was like, I walked in and I saw that flag and I was like, oh, okay, where'd my locker go? Because like I usually I'm in that spot. So I like looked up at my name and I was like, oh, and then I looked back down in my locker. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, and I looked around. I was like, oh, are we sure? Like, really? So that's just like that was the honest reaction. But going back to like just like the journey of it, I'll even take it back to club briefly. Is like I was a captain for all of my like beside from like basically like ECNL U14 days up until we went to college. Like I was always a captain. It was just a role that I don't know, teammates just like I was never someone who like is gonna put myself out there like I want to be a captain, I want to be voted as a captain. It just always kind of came and like I just always had that trust of teammates and I like to my favorite animal is an octopus and I know I've said this before, but like I like to describe myself as that. I like to have a lot of tentacles in different groups of people. So I like to reach across a lot of teams that I'm on and not just like have one group that I'm with. So I guess that kind of always gave the perception of like we trust you. We like you set a good example, like you show in your style of play, you show on and off the field like your qualities of a leader. So I'll take it back, yeah, that those club days is when that kind of like got brought into my life. Um, Reflecting on UW really quick was I was a captain for 3 of my years at UW, 3 out of the 5. And the first year I became a captain, I was the younger one because they always wanted one to be able to like kind of pass the torch to. And for me, that was the year that I didn't even play. So I was kind of like, I had teammates voting for me to be a captain when I wasn't even performing at the time. Like it was after my ACLs of things. Like it was like I had 44 games in total in college. So it's like my performance on the field was never what showed myself as a captain. It was always kind of what I was doing off the field, like with teammates' trust and just like things like that, and being like an example for that. Because obviously the workload I put in off the field for my ACLs and that journey itself, that all had to show for itself when I wasn't playing soccer. So I found a really big role in that in general of like I've worn a lot of different hats. I've worn the hat of not starting. I've worn the hat of being injured. I've worn the hat of coming off the bench. I've worn the hat of starting. So, and at all levels across my journey of soccer. So yeah, so I just feel like to get up to then this moment is I never expected any of that coming into the Reign or like even in the league. Like there's a lot of great players that you're like, hey, you instantly kind of can pick out the leaders and the dominancy on each of the teams with the personalities, or just who's been the captain years in, years out. So yeah, so this moment for me, I feel like this weekend was kind of surreal just because I was like, I've looked up to so many of these players and even our leadership group, like you've alluded to, like we have a wide range of people that it's like they put themselves out there to be voted by the team. So it was kind of like, okay, you got to kind of step out of your comfort zone at first and be like, I want to be chosen. But then, which I said, I already alluded to, I never liked to do that. I always would rather have people just pick me and then I don't have to worry about being like, yeah, I'm interested in it. Um, but yeah, I just feel like the group we have for leadership, it's a good we have young, we have internationals, we have the experienced, and we just have a mix of everybody. Like I said, injured, not. So it's just like it's a good variety of like what the team voices in itself, which is ultimately like what I've always loved to stand for with that. Um, but yeah, no, I just feel like I was beaming with happiness. I got tons of pictures of it. Like I was like this it was a really big moment for me, and it's like I felt also just a sense of comfortability because like I've said, I've been in those roles and it wasn't like it was foreign to me, but it meant more that it was an honor that that was what got picked, or like I was someone who got picked and was in the forefront of people's heads when they thought of who to pick for captain this weekend. So it was definitely a top moment for my career, especially everything I've gone through up to this moment. And I honestly have it alluded to all the like people and leaders I've had before me and with me and alongside me. So yeah, Lou and Jess are a big part of that. I think even when Lou gave it to me in Chicago, I was like, okay. There was one game before that I went in the last like 10 minutes to, and she went off and I was the closest to her and she turned to give it to me and I put my arm like this and I like turned my head and she was like, you did not want to take it. I was like, I was like, that was the last time of the game. Like, but it was just, we joke about it now, but it's like, I am comfortable for it, but it's nice knowing, I think, slowly these past months and years at this team and with these people, the trust that they've put in me and the growth that they've seen from me is really heartwarming. So, I can't speak highly enough about how that feeling was this weekend for this friendly. It was amazing. So, yeah.
To kind of wrap it up, you've talked about the leadership group. Can you maybe take us through your reaction to being named to that leadership group and your mentality being a
Hmm.
leader with this club? Because I know there's different ways to lead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so the leadership group, yeah, basically once the team voted, Laura kind of got in front of everyone and said like, "Hey, here's who got the top votes, whatever it was," and then we had an alternate. So I was actually the alternate. So I actually didn't get picked initially for the leadership group. So we had it's like Ainsley, Lynn, Jordan, Ryan Brown, Veronica, and then obviously Lou and Jess are in that because they join with like a lot of those conversations being like the club captains. Um, and then Veronica getting hurt, unfortunately, at the beginning of season, it was kind of one of those things where like she gets to then focus a little bit on like her life, her rehab base, but like she's still a part of that group and she's like honestly the most organized person I've ever met. I'm so thankful for her in that sense. Um, and she thinks of the questions that no one else does. But I basically got told after that Coachella trip, like once Veronica got hurt, that I would no longer be the alternate. I would kind of fill in her spot. And then like I could, even though, and then because people are fluctuating in and out, like Jordan and Lynn go on international duty, Ainsley goes on younger international, like things like that. I feel like it made sense to have the alternate still step in a lot of ways. So I actually was the alternate and got promoted up. So, it was fine though. When Laura told me I was an alternate, I was like, great. I'm here whenever you need me. It's kind of like filling the role of when I've filled it for when I'm coming off the bench, when I'm not suited, but then have a chance the next week to prove myself, whatever it is. I've had those skills throughout my whole career and life of being like, here's what your role is now. And I'm like, great, we're going to embrace it. And then whenever you need me, call me up. It was a lot quicker of a call up than I was expecting, but I was here for it. And yeah, definitely prepared. So yeah, so that was kind of my reaction. So it was embrace the role when I had it, and then as soon as I got the call up, then it was yeah, whenever I had felt like everyone was ready to take me in, and then we went from there. So it was good. It's fun to be a part of it now, and yeah, like I said, it's nice to have so many different voices that allude to what the whole team opinion is. So it's a really nice group to have with a lot of different personalities and roles, and yeah, from that aspect. So it's great.
And then my last one to wrap you up here. Since you've been at UW and obviously now with the Reign, you've been part of this somewhat, I don't know if I'd call it a renaissance, but this boom of women's sports in Seattle. Most notably, obviously, PWHL Seattle's coming in. They're going to bring women's hockey professionally here. I guess just, as someone who's part of it with the Reign and the success of the Reign and obviously the rebrand back to the Queen, as well as maybe a fan. I know a bunch of Reign players will always be at Storm games.
Hmm.
See if we can get you out to some hockey. Just what has it been
Yeah.
like for you to
Oh, love the
experience,
hockey.
the growth of women's sports even further, in Seattle?
Yeah, I'm just excited. I mean, it has been unreal. I just feel like and I mean, this could be biased, but I just feel like what better place for this to all be happening? I mean, literally, when you look across the whole board of the U.S., like it's not like I mean, yeah, like we want it to like take over, and we want yes, like women's sports everywhere, and we want all like any city and every city with that fan base to be able to have the experiences we have here in Seattle. But I just think Sports City Central, I'm here for it. I'm just excited to continue to watch it grow. I'm excited just not only from here too, but from a league standpoint too, just about the NWSL as well. Like we're expanding more in that realm and like just like in general, I feel like that also just takes off such a foundational moment for a lot of these other teams and clubs and sports to just start to like slowly progress. I mean, I'm going to use my hometown for example, Denver getting a team. They're the first women's pro team in the state. So it's like for them to already start that then it's like it's exciting to then what can show like okay, now get them a women's basketball team and now get them yeah, a hockey team. And so things like that. I just feel like it's very exciting to watch it happen and it's been amazing to have a front row seat here in Seattle because I do mean it when I say it that like this is like there's no better city for stuff like this to be happening and I've been very excited and very blessed to be a part of this like team and culture and women's sports era of this big boom. I mean, yeah, I got drafted in the first women's sports bar for like everyone knows. So I just feel like for me that moment's just even bigger because of my experiences here in Seattle, especially. So I'm excited for the trajectory that not only it's going to have here, but just across the board. So yeah, I think we're at a really good foundation for it. So
Okay. Well, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Shae was great to talk to. I mean, I'm not surprised, but really enjoyed that. So hope you guys enjoyed that as well. The individual interview itself, if you ever want to go back and watch that, should be on our YouTube channel. Um, oops, I got lost with all my folders here. But yeah, so I don't know. The Reign now have a friendly July 26th at 7 o'clock in Portland. I believe it's at Providence Park against the Thorns. That match will not be broadcast, which is a problem. We're supposed to have a pre-match press conference today. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm gonna look through my emails. I don't see anything. Yeah, so we'll see. Um, but yeah, a few of us they asked if we wanted to do that. I said yes. So we will see. But yeah, so until we see you next week, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry there's not too much to go over. I hope my information from the Urawa friendly was helpful. And I hope you enjoyed our interview with Shane. So until we see you next time, take care of yourselves, be well, do what you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, where are you going to watch all the away games for Seattle Reign FC this year?
Away games. Well, since Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See y'all here.